is, I live in Groningen in the Netherlands. These are my artworks. They are painterly objects. That means that I am very much interested in what can a painting be and how is it on the wall, and do they speak to each other, and what kind of conversation is that? Is it shouting, is it singing, or is it just a harmonious way of speaking with each other? They are connected by use of material. They are made of wood with oil sticks. Also, a new something is the cut-out canvas. Color is very important to me. Space. I'm very much inspired by the Irish landscape and the space it gives me. I think this is enough.
The first question that is really important for us is why you started curating. Being an artist, and then you moved.
In some ways, it's almost the other way around, in the sense that I studied art history originally. So perhaps that's almost my training is perhaps more as a curator than as a painter. Except I've painted since whenever. I always really say that I'm an accidental curator in the sense that I didn't intend to start curating. It was a couple of years ago I was offered an opportunity to do a show in a wonderful space in Paris. And it seemed too good not to take the space and show some of the incredible work I was seeing around me and that wasn't being shown or wasn't being shown together. I think what's been really interesting for me as a curator is seeing dialogues appear between works that you wouldn't see in other places, either because the artists aren't shown or because they don't usually show together. And as a painter myself, as an artist, I am very privileged to know lots of artists, to see lots of work, to get to do lots of studio visits, because we talk to each other, I think more than ever today, and more globally than ever. Thanks to social media, we do have these dialogues going on amongst us without necessarily waiting to see things in official galleries or represented by other people. And so that first show, really, we had very little time to do it, but we had an incredible space, and there was a wonderful energy, not to say synergy, of artists who came together who really wanted to do that show. And it was a very varied show. It was abstract and figurative. There were objects and sculptures as well as painting. But it came together as a wonderful dialogue. And the title, Movable Feast, I almost felt this time it was a shame I'd used that, because this show is more than ever a movable feast. That first show, Movable Feast, was because I was in Paris. I was about to leave Paris, and it was a reference to Hemingway, of course. And I certainly wanted it to be a feast. I wanted it to be a visual feast, and it was something, I was in movement, and all of us were in movement, so it seemed appropriate then. But in many ways, this show is probably the real movable feast, because this has been a different set of logistics, as you know, which is perhaps your next question.
Well, like Aaron said a lot of things, and coming back to the fact of painting, I think that painting is always having a renaissance when we say it's starting to die, and so that always puts it back in a discussion, and therefore it lives again and again, and it's always more intense and present as ever. And so today, these days, we have a lot of different options of how to go about painting and everything, and this is where our situation is coming together to, is the fact that we're both artists and curators, is to put these shows together with all these different options, and more we're doing it, and as she said, us moving to different places again, it becomes like a language. And this is what I think it's a really incredible thing to know, that art is a language and it combines people from all over the world with all different traditions and ways to live and everything. So that is what I really enjoy, and really enjoy being here right now to have this experience. And for me personally, it's always two-sided, you know, because I am an artist too, and it just proposed me so many things. I knew I have very little space to bring things here, so I must create a new situation where I put everything in a small bag, in a suitcase, and see what I can come up with. And so I do folds and things, and I've been always a painter, and I still look at my things as a painter, but I don't use brushes anymore, in fact. So I think things are changing, and when I sculpt like a painter, and when I paint like a sculptor, you know. So it's a little bit like this, and I always find a great source of new ideas when I get in contact with other artists and see how they do things, and I do, because it's a very solitary thing to do, and to communicate over this. Voila! And that's that.
Thank you.